Hello everyone and welcome to another Middle Game episode focusing on passed pawns with Coach B from MasterChess.com. In this video, we're going to go over the third type of useless passed pawns. And to do that, we're going to take a look at two games that were played in the past. This first game was played in Los Angeles in 1990 between Peters and Silman. So if we analyze this position, we can see here that white is up a pawn, and not only that he's up a pawn, but he has a passed pawn on d5. However, that passed pawn does not bring any advantage to the table. The problem is that this passed pawn was too advanced too soon. Actually, in the game, Silman playing as black, he mentioned that he sacrificed the pawn knowing that white's passed pawn will be more of a target and it will be very hard to defend. In the game here, white played pawn to d6, black responded with king to f7. Black here has to be super careful. He cannot allow white to trade in his weak passed pawn for another pawn. For example, coming back, if black doesn't respond with king to f7 right away, but goes after the passed pawn with rook to c6, here white can play pawn to f4. After e takes f4, rook to e7, taking control of the 7th rank. After black captures the pawn and white exchanges one pairs of rooks, he can capture the pawn on b7 with a winning advantage. And black cannot let that happen. So coming back, after pawn to d6, king to f7 is the correct move. Here black responded with rook to d3, then king to e6. After rook e to d1, rook to d7, blocking the passed pawn. After pawn to b4, attacking the rook, rook to c6, attacking the passed pawn with three pieces, the two rooks and the king. And white cannot hold on to it. After something like pawn to a5, rook c takes on d6, and after the rooks get exchanged, this ends up as an equal game. All that white's got is pawn to c4. After f5, a draw was achieved. Coming back from the very beginning, I do want to mention that no better is moving the pawn to f4 here instead of moving the pawn to d6 right away. If white tries pawn to f4, black can respond with rook c takes on d5 right away. After the rooks get exchanged, f takes e5, f takes e5. Now after king to f2, king to f7, king to e3, king to e6, this is an equal game. And here, actually, black has a passed pawn now. However, this should still be an equal game. So as we come back, we can see that the problem with this passed pawn, the reason why it was weak, it was because it was advanced too far and too soon. So now let's take a look at another game. And this next game was played in 1620 between Greco Giacchiano and an unknown player. And here I'm actually going to fast forward through the entire game and stop at the critical moments of the game. And this is the position that was reached after just 17 moves, where white just launched his queen deep into the enemy camp on e6, thinking that if the queens get exchanged, he's going to have a dangerous passed pawn right in the enemy's camp. However, this ends up being a weakness, because after black captures the queen and the pawn captures back, even though white has a passed pawn on e6, it's so far from his pieces that it's going to be attacked right away, and white is not going to be able to have time to hold on to it. From here, probably the fastest way to capture that pawn will be moving the rook to e8, indirectly attacking the pawn on e6. After pawn to a4, knight to d5, where now the rook attacks the pawn on e5. After pawn to c4, attacking the knight, knight to c7, where black attacks the pawn with two pieces and white is not defending it with any, which means that pawn will fall. However, coming back, here black chose a different path. He moved the knight to g6. White responded with pawn to d4. Black responded pawn to d5, blocking that pawn. Bishop to e3, pawn to c4, blocking the queen side. After bishop to c1, rook to e8, attacking the passed pawn. After white defended with rook to e1, bishop to d6, developing the pieces. Pawn to a4, knight to f8, attacking the passed pawn. And now, white cannot do anything to defend that passed pawn. After knight to d2, black captures the pawn, and now he is up a pawn with the winning game. And I'm just going to fast forward through the moves so you can see how black ended up winning the game. If you appreciate my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as that will help me out. Now let's get back to the video. And after white made his last move, he resigned the game. He definitely didn't want to see the position after rook to h8, g takes f3, rook to h3, an excellent move. After f takes g4, rook e to h8, where white is totally done. If he tries knight to f2, well, rook to g3 is checkmate right away. And if he tries to stay in the game for a little longer, let's say he tries king to g2 to run away with the king, well, rook to h2 check, king to f3, rook a to h3 check. After knight to g3, rook takes g3 is checkmate again. Coming back, the only other try that white has is trying to fight for the second rank rook f to f2. But here, after black captures the knight, king to g2, and black captures the bishop, there's no reason to continue the game. So coming back to move 17, white's big error was moving the queen to e6 into the enemy camp, allowing the queens to get exchanged, creating a passed pawn that had no support. Because that pawn was so deep into the enemy camp and white didn't have enough pieces to hold on to it, that actually went down to his destruction. So always be careful when creating a passed pawn, especially if it's going to be deep into the enemy camp, if you don't have enough support to hold on to it. Because that passed pawn will become a weakness and it's going to be gobbled up by your opponent, and now you being down a pawn will have a harder game to play. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Want to reach master level chess? I encourage you to visit my website masterchess.com, where you will be able to engage in a free beginner to master interactive course. All you have to do is go to masterchess.com, click on beginner to master course, choose your rating category and what lessons you want to study, watch the video on those lessons, and then practice against the computer. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.